Macy's has all of your Grill Master essentials for Father's Day. Stop by to get our hand-trimmed chicken breast and certified Angus beef patties that are ready to grill, so Dad can have his favorite dinner. Make sure to browse our bakery to find the perfect no-work Father's Day treat with our decadent peanut butter bars or famous donuts. Right now, you can get boneless beef ribeye steaks for $12.99 per pound at Macy's. Shop these Father's Day essentials in-store or online at Macys.com through June 18th. Macy's, happy shopping!
Visit Avery.com, AVARY, for the most up-to-date news and information on Team Avery.
Avery, 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 Avery,
This is the Gala Show. I'm your reporter on the beat, Gala Avery. On this episode, you may know my guest from his shorts and commercials for acclaimed TV series such as Wednesday, Cowboy Bebop, Cursed, and 13 Reasons Why. But you're about to know him for something much more, because his debut feature, It's What's Inside, is a fantastic psychological thriller that even had me guessing the twists and turns it was going to take. Today on the mic, I have filmmaker Greg Jardin. Hey, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really, really good. So before we bring up the topic for today, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is the movie that got you interested in filmmaking?
I just say Tim Burton's Batman, I think.
Oh, that's a good answer. I actually still haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
I know.
Oh, my goodness.
All of my friends are like, how have you not seen Tim Burton's Batman? Because I love the animated series.
Oh, okay.
And I love all of like the wacky stuff.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen it yet.
It's really good. Yeah, you know, it's like when I saw it, I had no idea how films were made at all. I had no idea what a director was, but it's like I remember just seeing Batman and essentially responding to the tone and Tim Burton's voice, but not knowing how to like articulate that. And it's like I don't know who is responsible for why this movie feels the way it does, but that's awesome, and it would be awesome to do that if that's doable.
So was that movie like you were like, okay, I finally understand what a director does?
Oh no, I didn't understand what a director did.
You just really like the movie. You're just like, I want to do this.
Yeah, like Batman Kids is another one that like I saw that, and you know, I'd never seen a movie like that. Essentially, like a verite movie, and I was like, I didn't know movies could be like. I'm trying to think like what I saw that where I guess it was really like Spike Lee was in my mind the first like celebrity director of like this is a person who is in some way like the sort of head of all these movies, and he has a job making these movies, and that seems like an awesome job to have. And maybe Kevin Smith when like because in Clerks and Tarantino actually.
Yeah.
I think it was like first Spike Lee, then Tarantino, and then Kevin Smith in terms of understanding that these guys are directors and they are responsible for the essentially like the tone totality of a film.
That's amazing. I love that. I'm trying to think of who besides my dad, I guess, because I grew up on set, so I was really lucky to know like kind of how a movie worked.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that must have been so awesome.
It's so funny. I was talking to someone recently that found out that my dad directed Rules of Attraction, and I was like, yeah, I'm the kid in the picture with Eric Stoltz. Like Eric Stoltz's family is my family, and we did family photos that day. And so there's some with Eric Stoltz in it, and then there's some with my dad in it. And we have the ones with my dad hanging up at our house. But then the ones of Eric Stoltz are in the movie.
Wow,
so
that's
like,
an amazing Easter egg.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. And I seem to remember there's a deleted scene in Rules where there's a picture of my little brother like going, like all like stink-faced. And he's like having sex with his student, and then Eric Stoltz just like puts the photograph down, face down, so his son isn't watching. But like I've never seen that. I just like have a memory of it. So I don't know if it's real or not, but who knows?
That sounds, yeah, I'd watch that scene.
I would do. I'm going to ask my dad when I get home. Maybe I just made this up. Who knows? Now, as always, my guest gets to bring their topic to the mic. Greg, why don't you tell us what your topic is and why you decided to choose it?
Okay, so we're going with genre mashups today, which I consider It's What's Inside to be a genre mashup, the definition of which we can get into, but obviously it's taking two genres and combining them into something new. And I just love genre mashups, just like as a fan, so I thought we'd talk about it. But before we get into the topic, it's time for a commercial break.
Back by popular demand, the Video Archives merch store is up and running. Get your favorite t-shirts, hats, notebooks, stickers, and more at videoarchivesmerch.com. You know me. I write all my notes in the Notes on Cinema notebook, the Gala edition, of course. Check out videoarchivesmerch.com to get yours today.
Okay, it's official. We are very much in the final sprint to Election Day. And face it, between debates, polling releases, even court appearances, it can feel exhausting, even impossible to keep up with. I'm Brad Milkey. I'm the host of Start Here, the daily podcast from ABC News. And every morning, my team and I get you caught up on the day's news in a quick, straightforward way that's easy to understand, with just enough context so you can listen, get it, and go on with your day. So, kickstart your morning. Start smart with Start Here and ABC News, because staying informed shouldn't feel overwhelming.
Hey moms, looking for some lighthearted guidance on this crazy journey we call parenting?
Join me, Sabrina Kohlberg,
And me, Andy Mitchell, for Pop Culture Moms,
where each week we talk about what we're watching
and examine our favorite pop culture moms up close to try to pick up some parenting hacks along the way.
Come laugh, learn, and grow with us as we look for the best tips.
And maybe a few what not to do's from our favorite fictional moms.
From Good Morning America and ABC Audio.
Pop Culture Moms. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, thanks so much for being a loyal listener. If you want to keep up with me off mic, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Gala Avery.
And we're back.
You heard it here, genre mashups. I have 30 minutes on the clock, and our time starts now.
Okay, well,
Let's get it rolling.
okay. So I guess the first thing is to go into what a genre mashup really is, because I feel like these days you can make an argument that most things are genre mashups.
Yeah,
right?
because you could say, okay, it's a crime thriller, it's a romantic comedy, it's et cetera, et cetera. But are those genre mashups, or are those just like two genres together?
Very good question, and I'm not sure. And I'm not sure what the first. I tried like Googling this to see what the like zeitgeist opinion was of like what the first genre mashup was, but it's hard to say. And like a movie that's like a romantic drama,
A dramedy.
a drama, yeah, a drama, yeah.
I always think it's funny though, also because like we never say like a com-rom. We always say a rom-com. It's always a romantic comedy, not a comedic romantic movie.
Oh yeah, why is that?
I don't know. Maybe it just sounds bad.
Yeah, or rom-com, yeah, rom-com. Rom-com does seem to like roll off the tongue.
Yeah, a little better.
Yeah, a little better. But yeah, you know, like I feel like Shaun of the Dead is like an unequivocal genre mashup, right?
Yes, for sure.
Some that I like that come to mind, like Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah, or like a Shaolin. What's a Shaolin soccer?
Yeah,
Shaolin soccer.
yeah.
It's like a kung fu sports movie.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't like. Well, I guess kung fu is a sports movie, but it's like a kung fu soccer movie.
Yes. Yes. Where I feel like the most extreme, like examples of a genre mashup are when you have two things that seem as disparate as possible coming together. Maybe like Streets of Fire is one that I love. It's like part musical, part like I guess like rock, like rockabilly, like I'm not even sure how to how to categorize.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also funny, like when you say Shaun of the Dead, that is really true, because I don't want to say it's like the first time that like horror has been funny, because there is like a lot of funny horror out there, but you wouldn't really associate zombies with a comedy based on like where zombies had been in the past.
Yeah, and like stylistically, that movie is so full of what we now I think know as Edgar Wright's style.
Yes, for sure.
Which did not feel, at least to me, like it belonged in the horror or like it was what we were familiar with in the horror space at that time. And it's like just that in and of itself, like I guess his voice and his tone did and continues to. I mean, like you can probably argue all of his stuff is genre mashup, except for maybe Last Night in Soho seems like a straight up giallo.
Yeah, Last Night in Soho seems pretty straight up. Baby Driver, I guess, could be a mashup.
Yeah, you could say like with it's not really a musical
It's
though.
not really.
But
I mean, it's heavily musically influenced.
Yes.
But Shaun of the Dead for sure, and even World's End.
World's End for sure.
God, World's End is the one movie I got carded and I wasn't allowed to go into.
Oh.
At my like local theater when I was living in Ventura. I tried to take I was old enough. I was 18, but I tried to take my little brother to go see it because they had been playing the trailers non-stop. And I took him, and it was like the first day back, I guess, for school. And they're like, no, you can't bring him in. You're not 21, so you can't bring an underage person in the theater. And I was like, come on.
Oh,
it's
man.
World's End. Like, what am I going to do in World's End? Still haven't seen it.
Oh, you still haven't seen it?
Still haven't seen
Oh,
it.
because of that. Oh,
Because of
man.
that like dweeb at the theater.
Oh, man. Okay. I can give you the blue. Yeah. Okay. You got to see this.
Pass it to me.
Spoiler alert, it's a genre mashup. Yeah, I guess like the best examples in my mind are stuff that seem like unclassifiable. Twin Peaks, David Lynch, huge influence.
Well, I guess a genre mashup would be something that like has a little bit of like a weirdness to it. Like it doesn't just play it straight. Like a rom-com is not technically a genre mashup because we're so used to rom-coms maybe.
Right.
But like if it was like a rom-com with like a little like what was that, like Lisa Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Like that's a genre mashup of like horror and rom-com.
Yes.
So
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one that I guess a big example that from the past few years is Teton. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
I think so too. I think
Julie
so.
Ducour. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain. Like, if someone asked me what the movie was about or just what the movie was genre-wise, I wouldn't know. I still don't know what to say. It's like part thriller, part body horror, part crime, I guess. But like,
yeah, and I guess there's so many like micro genres now. Like I guess like body horror is like a good example. Like body horror is like a micro genre or like a subset of horror because like you can mix all those little ones together to kind of get a mashup.
Yeah. It's just so fun, like to I think not know how to classify something, and then to be given this experience that feels new, but it's like it's like all made up of familiar elements, just like if you're eating a new dish with ingredients that you've all had before, but they're just prepared in a new way. You're like, oh, this feels new, even though everything in it is familiar, I guess.
Yeah, would Blazing Saddles be a genre mashup?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great pull.
Yeah. Because it's like a Western comedy. I guess also Rustler's Rhapsody then. Because I was thinking, honestly, my big question for you was what two genres should never be mashed up? And so I started trying to think of like genres that, like
never be. Oh, interesting.
I know, because then I started thinking, well, Westerns are usually just mashed up with comedy, like if they're gonna subvert, because I guess it's like a subversion of the genre a little bit, because they do play it like really straight and really violent, depending on like if it's Italian or American Westerns.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what two genres can't be mashed up, because I think the thing about a genre mashup is that they're not supposed to be together.
I mean, I feel like the answer to that question is, I mean, I hope if there is an answer of what two genres should never be mashed up, then someone should mash them up.
Yeah, mash them up. Mash them.
Solely to see what.
Mix them.
Yeah, I mean, and like how would you categorize like Mulholland Drive? Like I heard it mentioned as Sunshine Noir on the previous episode. Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, it's a really hard. It's just Lynch's voice is so. It's
uniquely Lynch.
Yes.
In a weird way. So it's like I feel like anything he touches, and like one other director I think of when I think of just straight genre is Kubrick, because each and every one of his movies is a different genre. Like you have war films, you have science fiction, you have, and like you kind of go through them. Like you have A Crime with the Killing, you have Paths of Glory is like a straight war. I guess Dr. Strangelove is kind of a mashup with like comedy but
satire,
they're all genre films.
I feel what genre is Clockwork Orange?
I don't know, like Crazy Crime.
It's like right, but it's also like sci-fi. It's also takes place.
Well, that one's also sci-fi, and like it's funny. I started learning Russian, and then I was like, oh, I understand Clockwork Orange so much better because all of their speak is Russian. Like Droog is friend in Russian. And everything is just Russian. So it's like all that influence of like that.
Oh, interesting.
I know it like actually helped me understand the movie better, because I started when I would listen to it and he's like, oh, we're drinking Moloko, which is like milk. I pronounce that terribly. But
right.
I was like, oh, they're just like replacing words with Russian words, and it informs me of like the meaning of the book and the meaning of the movie, and
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel like that would be. I'm trying to think. I feel like that certainly of his his catalog is certainly the most mashup-y thing, in my opinion, that I think he's done. I mean, solely based on the fact that it takes place in a sort of like alternate reality that's like kind of close, but also like that in and of itself already like takes it into this weird space. And then it's about the human condition, but it's also about crime, and then just the fact that it's like broken up into kind of like these two chunks.
Yeah.
Where the first half feels very different than the second half. So like that in and of itself almost makes it a genre match. Like the movie Room. The Brie Larson movie.
Oh, I thought for some reason I thought you meant like The Room.
Oh, the Room, you could argue, is a massive genre mashup for sure.
I was like, oh my God, are we going to talk about The Room right now? Like, no, but Room was brilliant when it came out. I haven't thought about that in a while.
Yeah, I just thought about it because of just like the idea how it's kind of broken up into two halves, and how the first half is essentially like an escape movie.
Yeah.
And the second half is essentially like a trauma-based drama, or like how do you,
Yeah, it's like a trauma-based submersible. I don't know. It's a bottle episode almost, or something. It's like 'cause it all takes place then in that room, and then the thing about that movie is that you end up the room becomes a character in it. And then when she is saying goodbye, or the kid is saying goodbye to the room, like, goodbye, room.
Oh,
it's so sad because in a weird way, you kind of like love the room, but you really don't want them to be stuck in there.
Oh my God, yeah, it's so complex, man.
It's a very complex movie. It's a really good movie. But The Room, on the other hand, I mean, some people love that movie. I have friends who are like diehard fans.
I mean, would you say that the Room is unclassifiable in terms of its genre?
Maybe because I feel like the director's vision was something different than what it turned out to be. It's something different than what the audience sees. I feel like the audience sees a very comedic film, whereas I feel like the director was attempting to do something more serious. I don't think the comedy is intentional. And so does that become a genre mashup when the filmmakers and the audience have different viewpoints on the movie?
Right, it's not like
Morbius.
I haven't seen Morbius, so hard to come. Yeah.
But when Morbius, like they were just trying to make Morbius, and then like the internet latched on, and it became like it's Morbin time, which is an actual line said in the movie, and it's really not a good movie, but it became beloved by the fans.
Yeah, I see. Right. Okay. So like The Room, the intention was, I guess, it's right. Like,
but he's not trying to make a
melodrama.
Yeah, he's not trying to make like this movie that people are laughing at. He's trying to make a melodrama.
Right. Okay, that is true. That is true. Yeah. So it's essentially
because it's just tonally a little incorrect.
Right. It's a melodrama which has. Well, we could debate. I don't know. Did he not intend it to be funny?
I don't think he intended it to be funny. I don't think so. Maybe.
I mean, he's such an interesting guy that it's hard to...
he's like a genre mashup himself. It's like, he's also indescribable. And we're talking about all these indescribable filmmakers like him and then David Lynch. And it's just like, you have these people that are just artists and they're just making art.
Yeah, I mean, Lynch is almost like Lynch is a genre in and of itself, which is only executed by one person.
Named
really.
David Lynch.
Yeah. Lynchine, yeah.
Like, you can't have, like, another person. People try to ape him, I think, and try to, like...
Oh, for sure.
Be him, but
including
no one.
Myself.
Well, I think there's also a difference though between aping and homage. I think like when something's done like lovingly, it's like I'm paying tribute to my forefathers. I'm not just directly copying them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that with you. When I saw your movie, I just have to say it's What's Inside. It was really good, and one of my favorite parts about it is the lighting. I love the lighting and how like your tricks that you do with the lighting in it. And I did not know what to expect when I got into it. And I'm watching it on Netflix. So I'm like, when you watch stuff on Netflix, you're sometimes like, oh, la, 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 I'm going to go grab a snack and stuff. I could not take myself away.
Good. Okay.
It was really good. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I really tried to make it a genre mashup. But really, honestly, like the idea of making a genre mashup is something that just kind of came over time. Initially, I just wanted to make something that felt like that had a sci-fi element in it, which is obviously the suitcase and the machine, but that was essentially just like a dark comedy. And just like in writing it, and then in like starting to think about music and tone, then it sort of really like the quote unquote tone, style, genre like formed over time, and then the idea of lighting it to basically look like a horror movie, like
with the reds and the blues. Yeah.
Yeah, and Argento's Suspiria is probably our biggest visual influence.
Yeah.
Just like, in that movie, opening scene is Jessica Harper's coming, like she arrives at the airport, like the key light in the airport is red, which is not realistic.
It's not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal, but it gives you this amazing emotional response. And it's like, it just like that's one of those things where you see that happen in a movie. You're like, man, I didn't realize that you could just do this in a movie and not even have to explain why the light is red.
Yeah, because it's art. And that's the whole thing. It's like people, I think sometimes some movies need to be realistic, like when they are maybe telling a real story or it's a straight up drama and they're trying to like show you like this is like what could happen. But I think movies need to be a little bit more fun, like, and a little bit more whimsical. I think we've kind of like gotten into a trap of like these very serious like movies and like a very serious movie going experience.
Yeah.
I love going to the AMC. I saw Trap, the M. Night Shyamalan movie at the
haven't seen it
AMC.
yet.
Oh my God. Is it still in theaters? If it's in theaters,
think
you
so.
have to go.
Okay.
Because my theater experience was amazing. Just like with the regular people that go to an AMC on like a Friday night. Wow, I had so much fun.
Oh man.
I have not like laughed and cheered at a movie and like that in so long.
Wow, really?
It was great. I had so much fun.
Oh, that's the
Anyone who
that's
hates
the
that
best.
movie, you need to like go to the theater to go see it because it was like a communal experience. It was wonderful. I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I'm selling you at the AMC.
I'm an AMC whatever Stubbs member, so
Yeah, get going. So when you were making your movie, then you didn't really have like a genre mashup in mind. It just kind of came over time.
I mean, initially it was just sci-fi comedy, and then it became kind of sci-fi. Like at a certain point, I realized, like in writing the script and the outline, I was like, oh, this should skew a little more like Hitchcockian thriller.
Yeah, because it does skew a little thriller, but the comedy is there for sure.
Yeah,
And the ridiculousness of it makes it endearing, and like the characters endearing because they are like you. Especially with the whole premise of the movie, you really had to develop your characters.
Yeah, and quickly, because well, just because like you get into the main conceit that when they start swapping bodies, 20 minutes into the movie,
Yeah.
and so at that point you have to have like a somewhat of an understanding about who all the characters are, and so you almost have to make them like sort of like archetype adjacent, I guess.
Yeah,
you
they're
could
not
say.
caricatures, but like they have to have defining qualities. Like, oh, she's really afraid of spiders,
Right,
for
right.
example, or like she
Yes.
screams at any animal that comes at her.
Yeah.
Like you have to like lay those like little like the little seedlings of those things so that you understand when the other actors are acting.
Yeah.
It's also really good as a director that you were able to like get them to perform as each other.
Oh man, thanks. That was mostly them. Like honestly, we had a week of rehearsal at the house before we shot with the actors, like while the house was being dressed, and just I wanted to give them as much agency as possible to kind of like take control of their characters, teach the other actors about their characters, and then learn from the other actors about the other characters. And yeah, without that week, I don't know how it would have come out. It's a hard thing to. I just can imagine if day one we had no prep or no rehearsal time.
Yeah, that would have been really, really, really rough.
Yeah.
It would have been a crazy, crazy experience for sure. I can only imagine because then you'd have to develop your characters as you're actually shooting.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would have been as believable.
No, no. And like, I rewrote the script a lot during that rehearsal week, just reacting to what the actors were doing, like hearing their feedback, seeing some improv. I mean, that was like that I can't stress enough how invaluable that week was, and then just really getting to define stuff like in collaboration with the actors. So yeah, but getting back to the genre mashup thing, I think just like the thing you said earlier of like, I love the feeling of like when I'm watching a movie and I'm like, I don't know where this is going exactly, because and it can heighten that idea. Furthermore, you're like, I don't even know what genre this is.
I don't know what I'm watching at all.
Yeah. Which is, I think, like the Lynch experience, the like Titan experience. What else? Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, that was a wacky movie for sure.
Yeah.
I think another one that like comes to my mind, I don't even know why, but it's Something Wild. Have you seen that one? It's the David Byrne does the soundtrack, and oh my god, is it Jacques Demy?
Oh,
no, Jonathan Demme. Jonathan Demme.
Yes, I haven't seen it.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm not going to ruin anything for you.
Okay.
You should watch it though. It has what I would say is the most perfect tonal shift I've ever seen in a movie through a lighting cue.
Really?
Yes,
Ooh.
exactly halfway through.
Oh, you're talking my language.
I know. I know. It's amazing. So because that movie also is something where you think it's one thing and then it becomes another.
Oh.
And I like movies like that too, because we have genre mashups that are just like, as I said, Blazing Saddles. It's like a Western comedy. But then you also have movies that are one thing and then they become like Room. It is one thing and then it kind of becomes another through the end.
Yeah. As you're saying that, Side Effects, the Soderbergh film, I feel like is that. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's just you think you're watching one thing. It's exactly what you just said in the best way. Yeah, it's so fun.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was really interesting though, because I think because of like the dynamic of the movie and like the story itself. It is a genre mashup because they're going through all these different worlds. Yeah. Like the hot dog fingers. I hate that so much.
It skeezes you out?
I hate it. I just don't like it. The hot dog fingers. I don't like the hot dog finger.
Do you not like hot dogs? I can get behind that if you're about to say you don't like hot dogs.
I'm okay with hot dogs.
Okay.
I'm like neither here nor there.
Is it just a texture
I don't know.
thing?
You know what? It's funny. I actually think they did too much of the hot dog fingers in the movie.
Oh, okay.
I think like if it was just like shown once or twice, I would have been okay. But like the whole entire hot dog finger world. But some people really love that, so I'm not gonna like get down on their happiness.
Were you triggered by the part where they're like the mustard is coming out of the fingers?
I think I'm triggered by the entire movie.
Oh man.
If I'm being honest, I'm just totally triggered by that movie, which is totally fine.
Oh, did you not like it?
No.
Okay. I see. I loved how. Okay, well, I loved how like at the beginning. I mean, whatever, first 10 minutes is essentially just like a relation, like a family.
Yeah, like it's funny because I love the first, I think 30 minutes of the movie. Like, even the part like where she's, I think the first time that she kind of travels and like she's in the chair and then her husband does like the fighting. I actually was watching it on my laptop and I turned it off and I said, okay, we have to go see this movie in the theaters. I'm gonna love this movie.
Sure.
And then I went and I did not like the movie.
Oh no.
And it was really weird, and I wondered to myself if I had seen it on like my smaller screen, if I would have liked it more. I think about that sometimes.
Why do you think the smaller screen would have made you like it more?
I don't know. Because I was really vibing on it when I was watching it on my laptop, and then when I went to the movie theater, I just wasn't connecting with it. Also, I'm light sensitive, so like all the flashing in the movie.
Oh, really?
So I was thinking maybe that was like not.
Wait,
vibing.
that's so interesting because it's like usually it goes the other way.
Yeah, usually it does, and I'm a huge proponent for cinematic experiences. But there's every now and then there's a movie where I'm like, you know what? It's better at home. It's either better at home on my TV or it's better at home on my laptop. I'm never going to watch a movie on my phone, but maybe there are some that would be better on my phone. Wait, I don't know.
Can you name something that you think is better on your laptop aside from?
Oh God. I have to think about that. I'll come up with it though, and I'll let you know. But like, no, I do watch a lot of movies on my laptop. Like, I've watched movies on my laptop in a parking lot.
Oh.
Like I'm just in the parking lot watching a movie.
What time of day was
like
this?
11 a.m.
Oh, okay. I was picturing at night. Okay.
No, I'm watching movies at any time. My friends always joke with me. They're like, Gala, why are you like doing whatever, wherever? And it's like, sometimes you just got to watch it. Sometimes it's only available on my laptop.
It's weird. I mean, yeah, like I just saw Alien 1 in the at
like the first Alien movie.
Yeah. The first Alien at the Egyptian in 35 mil. I mean, I've seen that movie I don't know, like a lot. And
I love that movie.
Oh yeah, so good. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, big screen makes such a difference. Just the big screen. And it's like, it's so important. But yeah, like I have had experiences where I've like watched a movie on a plane and been crying.
Oh my God. My dad watched Sex and the City 2 on the plane. And it's like, he loved it so much on the plane. And I remember we also watched like a Selena Gomez movie, like Monte Carlo or something on the airplane.
Ooh,
and we all have like
cut.
a collective experience of watching that in our different seats. And we all loved it.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Like my parents were watching it and then they like were crying and they were like, Golly, you have to watch Monte Carlo.
Wow. Okay. I know of it. I've not seen it. Sounds like I need to watch it.
But I don't know, but maybe on the plane. Like my dad will always watch Marvel movies on airplanes because he's like, that's exactly what they're made for.
Interesting.
They're made for like 4-hour flights.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You should get Kevin Feige on this podcast and
ask him about that.
Yeah.
So what genres would be your favorite to mash up, you think?
Oh, I mean, certainly sci-fi, I think. I mean, I love sci-fi as a genre just in general because it just allows you to, like, introduce some sort of fantasy, otherworldly element and then use that as a vehicle for exploring, the human condition.
Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine, really all of Kaufman's stuff. But, it's like Eternal Sunshine, you got this other, like a fantasy idea that just explores the ups and downs of a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. I also just think science fiction is the perfect vehicle for us to talk about any kind of social issue that we're going through.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like all like the zombie movies, like originally, like Night of the Living Dead was like Vietnam, and then Dawn of the Dead is consumerism, and Day of the Dead, I don't really know exactly what Day of the Dead is saying. I'm sure my dad could tell me, but science fiction is the easiest way. Like Her is a really good example.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Do you have that down there? Yeah. Her is a really good example because also what genre is that?
I know totally. It's like sci-fi love story, but it also takes place in it's slightly same with Clockwork Orange, in like a slightly different world, but it all feels grounded, within the world that they all created.
They've created that universe. Like Rollerball, I guess, would be another good example because it's like a sports science fiction mashup.
Yeah.
And they really have created a full-fledged world. That's the thing about science fiction is that they do create like this world, and even no matter how weird it is, you believe it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
sure.
Logan's Run. When I watched that movie, I like the first half of that movie. The second part kind of like, I don't know, gets lost a little bit for me. But the first half, it's like they have all these things that you're like, I don't know if that would happen. And then they kind of came true a little bit in our culture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that idea of like you can have your just like a movie can create its own rules and its own world, and then it might seem silly, like from like a few steps away, but once you're in it, you can totally believe it. I mean that like the lighting thing is Suspiria. It's just like it's so amazing that like. If you explain that to someone logically, it's like that doesn't make any sense. No one's gonna.
That would never happen.
Yeah. But when you're watching it, it's like okay, I'm seeing it. I believe it because of the execution. It feels totally like it's like I'm not questioning anything, and that's amazing. It's so fun.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think though science fiction probably is. Do you think it's the easiest one to mash up?
Yeah, probably because I mean, really, just anything,
Well, science fiction itself is a mashup. Wait a second.
Oh man.
Because it is a genre mashup because it's science and fiction.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, is science a genre?
I think science is a genre. Ken Russell has his science movie, which is Ken Russell's The Planets, his BBC special about him talking about the planets.
Oh, okay.
So yes, because science fiction is like a genre of like fake science, like science stuff that is kind of like a little bit removed, that like we wouldn't think possible. Because if it was just science, it would be based in fact. Science fact. Right. I mean, but the science fiction thing, it stretches from, like, you could say Interstellar. I mean, Interstellar for sure is science fiction, right? But then Star Trek is also science fiction. Yeah, but I think Star Trek also, it's funny, like, I'm a huge Trekkie.
Oh, okay,
huge,
okay.
But, like, when you talk about Star Trek, it's funny because I think back when it was airing, it was definitely science fiction, like in the 90s and stuff. But now we've actually have based a lot of technology on what they were theoretically planning. So strangely, it's become science fact in some places.
Retrospective.
Like retrospectively.
Like
in hindsight.
Wow.
It's kind of weird. Well, I didn't know that science fiction was a genre mashup until we started talking.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's like, I mean, I feel like all of Tarantino, well, maybe not Jackie Brown, but like, all of Tarantino's stuff seems to be, I mean, Kill Bill for sure, right?
Yeah, Kill Bill for sure. Inglourious Bastards. I mean, it's like a war drama comedy, a war dramedy.
Yeah, right. It's like
comedy.
Guys on a mission, but then the guys on a mission are only in it for like a third of the movie, and I mean it's
Once Upon a Time. Well, is Once Upon a Time a mashup, or is it more just like a retelling of like history?
I feel like it's hard to classify that movie, right? Like
again, we're talking about auteurs who are making art, and it's like, how do you classify art?
Yeah, but right, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's like, is it like I still don't know, like if I'm explaining the movie to a very casual moviegoer who sees like 3 movies a year, right? It's like the harder it is to classify what it is to that person, I feel like the more of a genre mashup it probably is.
For sure. I also think another one that just popped in my head was the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
watch that? Yeah, because
Oh, sure.
it is a superhero, because superhero movies are now their own distinct genre. I feel like I don't know when that happened, like if it was like when all the Marvel movies came, or if that was before, but and then to have like it be so artistic. At least the first one, I really liked the first one. I really connected with that.
Yeah, I mean, it still like, and it felt and looked different than any other film.
Yeah, and now a bunch of animations have kind of started doing that style.
Yeah.
So it's funny because like what I consider those ones mashups, I don't know, because it's like the first of its kind. You know, like that's definitely a mashup.
Yeah, eventually, someone is gonna take that style and mash it up with another style, which is now going to give birth
Its
to
own style.
And then someone will then mash that up. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just the way, you know, it's the same thing with like music. It's like there's only so many chord or like pop music anyway. There's only so many chord progressions, but like the fact that we've gotten so many essentially timeless bangers out of like the same
chords.
Yeah, is, I mean, it's it says something about how maybe it's not what the ingredients are, but like what you do with the ingredients themselves.
I agree. That's a really good way to put it. One last one I can think of, which is kind of coming off of what you're saying, is Breathless, because it's a remake, and it's like the remake of Breathless.
Richard Gere?
With Richard Gere.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of becomes a genre mashup because it's based on the old movie. But does it, you think?
I've never...
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I've only seen OG.
Oh, you know what? The OG... I have a really interesting theory about the OG one.
Okay.
Is that it's all about a curse. That they've been cursed. I don't know if I have enough time to tell you. I don't. But I'll tell you off mic. But I have this theory. I've been developing it, that they're cursed. And they pass around this curse of being breathless because they always do that motion with their lips. And it's actually kind of like a horror thing. This is like...
Okay, I'm going to rewatch it tonight
I'm developing this theory. What other movies do you have on your list? Do you have any other ones?
Annette, huge one.
Yeah.
You watched it, like, I don't know how to describe that movie. Annette, The Neon Demon.
Yes, that one is definitely... A lot of his movies are also like genre specific.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like at this point, especially with his last two shows, Refn is a genre in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's up there with like Lynch and stuff. It's a Refn movie.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
That's all the time that we have for today. But Greg, is there any final thought that you want to share with the audience?
Thanks for listening to us talk. I had a great time.
Yay.
Check out It's What's Inside on Netflix October 4th. I hope you like it. I hope you find that it has rewatch value. We try to make it to have rewatch value, and keep watching movies. Keep movies alive.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely check out It's What's Inside, because I had so much fun watching it. I need to go rewatch it because I have questions, and I'm going to ask him after the mic because I don't want to give any spoilers away, because one of the things about this movie is you don't want to be spoiled. So I would go and watch it ASAP as soon as it hits. Which will be tomorrow when this airs.
Okay,
so,
great.
Thank you to my guest, Greg Jardin, for coming onto the show. If you'd like to keep up with Greg, you can do so on his website, gregjardin.com, or on Instagram and Twitter at Greg Jardin. I'm Gala Avery, and this has been The Gala Show. The Gala Show is brought to you by Avery.com. This episode was executive produced by Roger Avery and produced by Gala Avery. Music composed by Andy Milburn. As always, I'm your host, Gala Avery. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved. Despite me sharing the same last name with this charity, I don't have any affiliation with it, besides the fact that the issue is very near and dear to my heart. Did you know that in the United States, 2.7 million children currently have a parent in prison, and it's estimated that 10 million children have experienced parental incarceration at some point in their lives? I was one of these kids, and as an adult, I am really grateful to be able to give back to Project Avery. Their mission is to build leadership from within by supporting community through programs such as mentoring and outdoor education, and also to remove the stigma surrounding having a parent that's incarcerated. You don't have to feel alone. If you know a kid who could use these resources or would like to donate money or time to the charity, please go to Project Avery, that's AVARY.org, to check out what this amazing charity is all about. Again, That's projectavery.org. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
Macy's has all of your Grill Master essentials for Father's Day. Stop by to get our hand-trimmed chicken breast and certified Angus beef patties that are ready to grill, so Dad can have his favorite dinner. Make sure to browse our bakery to find the perfect no-work Father's Day treat with our decadent peanut butter bars or famous donuts. Right now, you can get boneless beef ribeye steaks for $12.99 per pound at Macy's. Shop these Father's Day essentials in-store or online at Macys.com through June 18th. Macy's, happy shopping!